Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. It is Sunday, December 2nd, 2018. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Civil Rights Act and its effect on the black population. Between 1960 and 1964, the black population was rising into professional and other high-level positions at a rate greater than the previous 5 years. And the previous 5 years were the years just following the Civil Rights Act. The statistics read that in 1960, a census showed the first signs of a decline in black marriages, a trend that accelerated in later years. Since the 1960s, the black labor force participation rates have been lower than whites, lower than unemployment rates for black 16 and 17-year-olds, which had never dropped below 20%. In 1980, 31% of all black firstborn children were born to teenage mothers. By 1992, 54% of all black children were living only with their mothers. From 1990 to 1994, 77% of first births to black women were premarital. In the 1980s and 90s, an absolute majority of those black families with no husband present in that family lived in poverty. By the 2000s, 75% of blacks with a high school degree or some college were not married. In 2005, black people accounted for 13% of the total U.S. population, yet they were the victims of 49% of all the nation's murders. And 93% of black murder victims were killed by other black people. Less than half of black students graduated from high school in 2005. By 2009, 73% of black children were born to unmarried mothers. In 2012, blacks in New York constituted 78% of the shooting victims and 74% of all shooting victims, even though they, as a demographic, are less than 23% of the city's population. Young black men in New York are 36 times more likely to be murdered than young white men. Today, black males between the age of 14 and 17 commit homicide at 10 times the rate of white and Hispanic males of the same age combined. In many urban areas, the black illegitimacy rate is over 80%. The national unemployment rate for blacks is over 13%, nearly 5 points above the average for all Americans. And black teen unemployment is over 40%. This is the legacy of the civil rights movement, stimulated by legitimate issues, co-opted by the liberal politicians, progressive politicians, Democrats largely. The same group that held these folks in slavery for hundreds of years and then denied them equality during the Jim Crow era, doing a complete 180 and saying, we now want to take care of you people. Be careful when politicians come and say, we're here to take care of you. But these statistics are not well known, and they are not what you're going to hear on the news broadcasts or in the media anywhere. You just got to love marketing, don't you? That's what it is. Democrats have never, ever wanted to help black people. They just wanted to do what they've always done, control them. The Southern Democrats were the ones that held these people in slavery. And sadly, they're in slavery today. just a different kind. But it's the same people.